Hello, hello. Hi, hi. Good evening. Good evening. Ilang araw na rin. Nakalimutan ko na yung aking start. Yung aking start, yung aking intro, yung cringe intro. Hi, hi, good evening pala. Hello, hello tuloy. Ngayon, maglalaro tayo ng Katawa Shoujo. Pero syempre, da-download muna natin. Search ko na. Download. Wait, ano ba tong DDL na to? Submit. Eh, tama naman, di ba? Tama. Okay, 34 seconds. Another visual novel, syempre. Good shit, good shit. I like my visual novels. Syempre libre. Hindi. Wala akong pera para sa ano. Gusto ko lang rin yung Amagami. Napanood ko yung anime. Good shit, Amagami SS. Good shit, good shit. May mga mayroon din ako mga visual novel na nalaro. Masyadong dangerous. Good shit. Okay. Bilis nun Parang kani-kanina lang nagbabasa ako ng manga tsaka nanonood ng anime. Ang bagal ng internet. Anong meron? Okay. Next. Lang nagre-record ba tayo? Nice. Kita nyo naman, di ba? Agree. Desktop shortcut. Start menu shortcut. Ay, desktop. Desktop lang pala. Next. Next. Install. Huwag kayong mag-alala. Nagpaalam na ako sa kapatid ko. Install ako ng Katawa Shoujo. Itong Katawa Shoujo, nalaro ko na to dati eh. Good shit, good shit. Disturbing. Disturbing. How dare me. Ewan ko. Because we're sick. Love sick that is. Ginagawa ko. Ang pinili ko dito yung bulag. Ewan ko na kung ano nangyari. Alam ko may mga H scene dito eh, pagkakatanda ko. Good shit yun, good shit. Kita ba yan? Yan natin. Ine. Options. Full screen mode. Disable adult content. Syempre. Text speed. Auto mode. Language selection. Okay. Disable. Syempre, disable natin yan. Kawawa naman. Para syempre, applicable sa YouTube. Yun lang. Start na tayo. A light breeze. Matagal din ako hindi nakapagbasa. Nagbabasa pala ako manga, pero hindi yung ganito, yung gumagamit ng bungang. A light breeze causes the naked branches overhead to rattle like wooden wind chimes. This is a popular retreat for couples in the summer. The deciduous trees provide a beautiful green canopy, far out of sight of teachers and fellow students. But now, in late winter, it feels like I'm standing under a pile of kindling. I breathe into my cupped hands and rub them together furiously to prevent them from numbing in this cold. Just how long am I expected to wait out here anyway? I'm sure that note said 4 p.m. Hisaw. Oo nga pala, alam ko, hindi ka bibigyan ng pangalan dito eh. Hisaw talaga. Ah yes, the note slipped between the page of my math book while I wasn't looking. As far as cliches go, I'm more of a fan of the letter in the locker, but at least this face shows a bit of initiative. As I ponder the meaning of the note, the snowfall gradually thickens. The snowflakes silently falling from the white painted sky are the only sign of time passing in this stagnant world. Oh, okay, okay. Good shit, merong mga effects pang nalalaman. This May kakapi ako. The slow descent upon the frozen forest make it seem like time has slowed to a crawl. Rustling of dry snow underfoot startles me, interrupting the quiet mood. Someone is approaching me from behind. Gusto nyo ba marinig? Taasan natin yung dito. Oh, Hisaw, you came? A hesitating, barely audible question. However, I recognize the owner of the dainty voice instantly. Meron ba tong pape. Paano dito mag-escape? However, I recognize the owner of that dainty voice instantly. I feel my heart skip a bit. It's a voice I've listened to hundreds of times, but never as more than an eavesdropper to a conversation. I turn to face this voice, the voice of my dreams, and my hearts begin to race. Hot damn! Iwan ako. I got a note telling me to wait here. It was yours. Damn it, I spent all afternoon trying to come out with a good night. And that was the result. Pathetic. Yes, I asked a friend to give you that note. I'm so glad you got it. A shy, joyous smile that makes me feel so tense I couldn't move a single muscle even if I tried. Oh, kakagulat naman. My heart is pounding now as if it were trying to burst out from my chest and claim this girl for itself. So here we are out in the cold. Wait lang, malakas. In-adjust ko ba? Parang di ko in-adjust. In-adjust ko ba? So here we are out the cold. Once again, the wind stirs up the branches. The cacophonous noise is music to my ears. Iwanako flinches over so softly against the gust of wind. As it passes, she rights herself as if supported by some new confidence. Her eyes lock with mine and she lazily twirls her long dark hair around her finger. Oh, yung na ganon. Okay, okay. Yung shyness, shimmy. All the while, the anxious beating of my heart grows louder. Iba na yan. My throat is tight. I doubt I could even force a word if I tried. You see, I wanted to know if you'd go out with me. So I stand there motionless, save for my pounding heart. I want to say something in reply, but my vocal cords feel like they've been stretched beyond the breaking point. Isaw, I reach up to try to massage my throat, but it's only sends spikes of blinding pain along my arms. Meron pala akong sakit. Ewan ko, hindi ko na naalala kung ano yung sakit nito. Hisaw. Di pala ako si Hisaw. Magkaiba kami. Hindi siya si Enem. Hisaw siya si Hisaw. Hisaw? My whole body freezes, save for my eyes, which shoot open in terror. Hisaw! 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 Narinig niyo ba ako? Para kasing ano yung the beating in my chest suddenly stops and I go awake at the knees. The world around me, the canopy of bare branches, the dull winter sky. Iwan ako running towards me, all this fades to black. The last thing I remember before sleeping away are the sounds of Iwanako screaming for help and the incessant clatter of the branches above. Paano ako mako-fall in love kung mahina yung aking puso? What just happened? God damn. Oof. Okay, meron ganun. May animation agad. Nice. Oh. Matagal ko din hindi nalaro Inspiration, right? 4 lip studios, good shit for you. I like 4. Writing anonymous. Parang ginawa mula sa Discord Editing ka. At kitang kita yung Mike Inel. Kilala niyo ba si Mike Inel? Yan. Kilala niyo si Manyakis? Yan. Yan. Proud artist ng Pilipino. Yung nastig ng animation. Nasa hospital to, di ba? Siyempre, merong ano eh. Stabilizer eh. It's been 4 months since my heart attack. Oh shit. In that whole time, I can probably count the times I've left this hospital room unsupervised on one hand. 4 months is a pretty long time when you're left alone with your thoughts. So I've had plenty of time to come to terms with my situation. Arrhythmia. A strange word, a foreign, alien one that you don't want to be in the same room with. A rare condition, it causes the heart to act erratically and occasionally beat way too fast, it can be fatal. Oh, arrhythmia. Nice. Ay, hindi pala nice. Sorry. Hindi pala nice. Maganda lang yung yung magandang tingnan, magandang sabihin. Pero, syempre, pangit yung condition. Sorry. Apparently, I've had it for a long time. They said it was a miracle that I was able to go on so long without anything happening. Is it really a miracle? I guess it was supposed to make me feel better. More appreciative of my life. It really didn't do anything to cheer me up. My parents, I think, were hit harder by the news than I was. They practically had 2 hemorrhages apiece. I had already had a full day by then to digest everything. To them, it was all fresh. They were even willing to sell our house in order to pay for a cure. Of course, there isn't a cure. Diba healthy living lang? Because of the late discovery of this condition, I've had to stay at the hospital to recuperate from the treatments. When late discovery of this, akala ko yung sa kanya lang pala. Akala ko yung mismong disease. When I was first admitted, it felt as if I was missed. For about a week, my room in the ward was full of flowers, balloons, and cards. But the visitors soon dwindled and all the get well gifts began trickling down to nothing shortly after. I realized that the only reason I had gotten so many cards and flowers was because sending me their sympathy had been turned into a class project. Oof! Oof! Wala man yung pang sarili. Oof! Oof! Ouch! Ouch! Pero malay mo, may mga may nag-care talaga sa'yo, di ba? Masyado ka namang negative. Maybe some people were generally, sorry na. Maybe some people were generally concerned, but I doubt it. Even in the beginning, I barely had visitors. By the end of the first month, only my parents came by on a regular basis. Nasa si Iwanako? Ito pala. Iwanako was the last to stop visiting. After 6 weeks, I never saw her again. We never had that much to talk about when she visited anyway. We didn't touch the subject that was between us on the snowy day ever again. Oh, shit! Ay! Rejected na pala ako. Unang-una pa lang. God my. I don't want to be rejected. The hospital. It's not really a place I'd like to live in. The doctors and nurses feel so impersonal and faceless. I guess it's because they are in a hurry and they have a million other patients waiting for them. But it makes me feel uncomfortable. For the first month or so, I asked the head cardiologist every time I saw him for a rough estimate of when I'd be able to live. He never answered anything in a straightforward way, but told me to wait and see if the treatment and surgeries worked. So I idly observed the scar that those surgeries had left on my chest. Slowly change its appearance over time, like thinking of it as some of kind of an omen. May natatanda no, meron ako nabasang manga yung meron siyang ano din sa puso, tapos bilang lang yung kanyang heartbeat. Tapos meron tapos akala niya siya lang, pero may ibang tao din palang gano'n. Tapos one shot lang nga tayo, good shit yung manga na yun. Yung may bilang yung puso. Nice. Ako din may bilang din yung heartbeat ko. Kaso nga lang masyadong marami. Lahat naman tayo. I still ask the head cardiologist about leaving, but my expectations are low enough. Now that I'm not disappointed anymore when I don't get a reply, the way he shuffles around the answer shows that there is at least some hope. At some point, I stopped watching TV. I don't know why I just did. Maybe it was the wrong kind of escapism for my situation. I started reading instead. There was a small library at the hospital. Although it was more like a storeroom for books, I began working my way through it, one small stack at a time. After consuming them, I would go back for more. I found that I like reading, and I think even became a bit addicted. I started feeling naked without a books in my hands. Huh? Huh? Ako din, I feel naked kapag di ako nanonood ng anime or nagbabasa ng manga. Nababaliw, ako nagiging uuaa. But I love the stories. That was what my life was like. The days became increasingly harder to distinguish from each other, differing only by the book I was reading and the weather outside. It felt like time blurred into some kind of gooey mass. I was trapped inside, instead of moving within. Oh, nice. Sana all ganun na lang. Kaso nga lang marami akong pinoproblema sa buhay. A week could go by without me really noticing it. Sometimes I'd pause and realize that I didn't know what day of the week it was. Same sa pandemic na to. But other times, all the things that surrounded me would painfully crash into my consciousness through the barrier of nonchalance I had set up for myself. The pages of my book would start to feel sharp and burning hot, and the heaviness in my chest would become so hard to bear that I had to put the book aside and just lay down for a while, looking at the ceiling as if I was going to cry. But that happened only rarely. Damn, and I couldn't even cry. Tubig ka. Kung wala kang mailo ka. Tubig. Today, the doctor comes in and gives me a smile. He seems excited, but not very. Oh, it's like he is trying to make an effort to be happy on my behalf. My parents are here. It's been a few days since I've last seen them. Both of them are even sort of dressed up. Is this supposed to be some kind of special occasion? It's not a part. Mamamatay na ba ako? There is this ritual the head cardiologist has. He takes his time sorting his papers, then settling them aside as if to make a point of the pointlessness of what he just did. Masyado kang ano, masyado kang strict hisaw. Then he casually sits down on the edge of the bed next to mine. He looks me in the eyes for a moment. Hello, Hisaw. How are you today? I don't answer him, but I smile a little back at him. I believe that you can go home. Your heart is stronger now, and with some precautions, you should be fine. We have all your medications sorted out. I'll give your father the prescription. The doctor hands a sheet of paper to my dad, whose expression turns wooden as he reads it quickly. So many. Dami ba? Dami ako medicine. Ay, sisaw. Hindi pala ako. Nasasanay kasi ako kapag ganun eh. Self-insert sa visual novel. Ganun talaga. Pero huwag ka mag-self-insert sa mga manga at sa anime. Nakainis yun. I take it from his hand and take a look myself, feeling numb. How am I supposed to react to this? Masaya kasi mabubuhay ka pa. At damn. Dubs. Ang dami. Oh my god, dizziness. Oh my god. Ano yan? Hindi ko alam. Dysmenorrhea, ventriculate pensionin, 50 mg per 12 hours, 50 milligram, ano yun? The absurdly long list of medication staring back at me from the paper seems insurmountable. They all blend together in a sea of letters. This is insane. Side effects, baka di nyo makita. Side adverse effects, contraindications, and dosages are listed line after line with cold precision. I try to read them, but it's so futile. I can't understand any of it, attempting to only make me feel sicker. All this, for the rest of my life, every day. I'm afraid that is the best we can do at this point. However, new medication are always being developed, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that list fade over the years. Years? What kind of confidence booster is that? Masyado ka naman strict din ng buhay ka ng lahat-lahat. I'd have felt better if you hadn't said anything at all. Also, I've spoken with your parents and we believe that it would be best if you don't return to your old school. What? Please calm down, Isaw. Listen to what the doctor has to say. Calm down. Bakit wala yung pangalan ko? The way he says it tells me he knew full well that I wouldn't like it. Am I going to be homeschooled? Whatever of my concern shows, it's ignored. We all understand that your education is paramount. However, I don't think that it's wise for you to be without supervision. At least not until we're sure that your education is suitable. So I've spoken to your parents about a transfer. It's a school called Yamaku Academy that specializes in dealing with disabled students. Am I disabled? Disabled ako? Damn. Sa puso? Damn. Disabled? What? Am I? Ikaw si Isaw din. It has a 24-hour nursing staff and it's only a few minutes from a highly regarded general hospital. The majority of students live on the campus. Think of it as boarding school of sorts. It's designed to give students a degree of independence while keeping help nearby. Independence. It's a school for disabled kids. Kids. Disabled kids. Don't try to disguise that fact. If it really was that free, there wouldn't be a 24-hour nursing staff and you wouldn't think a hospital being nearby a selling point. Parang nga sa mga disabled eh. Paano kapag bigla ka na lang out of nowhere? At least may nurse na malapit, di ba? Of course, that's only if you want to go. But your mother and I aren't really able to homeschool you. We went out there and had a look a couple of weeks back. I think you'd like it. It looks like I really don't have a choice. Compared to other heart problems, people with your condition usually tend to live long lives. You'll need a job one day and this is a good opportunity to continue your education. Ako din, gusto ko din ng job one day. Gusto ko po maging scriptwriter ng mga games. This isn't an opportunity, don't call it an opportunity. Don't call it a goddamn opportunity. That's pala good. This isn't an opportunity. Don't call it an opportunity. Don't call it a goddamn opportunity. Paulit-ulit, napaka-redundant. Pwede no? So, okay na yan. Mas pang bobo. Well, you should be excited at the chance to go back to school. I remember you wanted to return to school. And while it's not the same one, a special school, that's an insult. That is what I want to say. It's a step down. It's not what you think. All of the students there are pretty active in their own sort of way. It's geared towards students that can still get around and learn, but just need a little help in one way or another. Oh. Your father's right, and many of the graduates of the school have gone on to do amazing things. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. One of my colleagues in another hospital is a graduate. I don't care. A person doesn't have to be held back. That's what a person doesn't have to be held back by their that's what a disability is. Masyado kang ano sa mga disabilities. Masyado kang ano sa kanila. Harsh. Looking down, sabi ka. Yun pala yung word na hinahanap ko. Looking down on disabled persons that trying their best. I really hate that something so important was decided for me. But what can I do about it? A normal quote life is out of the question now. It's funny, I had always thought my life was actually kind of boring, but now I miss it. Mamimiss mo lang ang isang bagay kapag nawala na sa'yo. Mamimiss nyo ba ako? Hindi. Ako din eh. Hindi ko mamiss sarili ko. I want to protest. I want to blame this lack of reaction on shock or fatigue. I could easily yell out something now. Something about how I can go back to school anyway. But no. I don't say anything. The fact is that I know it's futile. Futile. Hindi ko alam talaga kung paano basahin yan. I look around the room, feeling very tired of all this. The hospital, doctors, my condition, everything. I don't see anything that would make me feel any different. There really isn't a choice. I know this, but the thought of going to a disabled school, what are those even like? As much as I try to put a positive spin on this, it's very difficult. Wait lang, kunin ko lang yung tubig ko. Masyado kasing matamis yung aking kape. Hello, I'm back. Sorry doon ah. I know, but the thought of there really isn't a choice. I know this, but the thought of going to a disabled school, what are those even like? As much as I try to put a positive spin on this, it's very difficult. But let me try. A clean slate isn't a bad thing. It's all I can think of get me through this. At least I still have something, even if it's a special school. It's something. It's a fresh start and my life isn't over. It would be a mistake to just resign myself to thinking that. Shadow. At the very least, I'll try to see what my new life will look like. Ayan, tama yan. I-try mo muna bago ka humindi. Dine. Nice, nice, nice. Act 1, life expectancy. Woo! Oh yeah. The gate looked far too pompous for what it was. In fact, gates in general seem to do that, but this one especially so. Red bricks, black wrought iron, and plate plaster assembled into a whole that didn't feel welcoming at all. Ano, parang English. Pero alam ko na sa Japan tayo. Parang prestige. I wonder if it looked like what a gate for a school should look like, but couldn't really decide. Probably no. Of course, I didn't want to get stuck on thinking about the gate for too long, so I entered through it with a brisk pace that felt surprisingly good. Moving forward feels good. So I walked towards the main building of Yamako Academy. With this brisk pace, alone. I'm alone as my parents are taking my stuff to the dorms. And there's supposed to be someone waiting for me. Bullshit ah. Ano ba to? Painting, picture. Pero bullshit yung place ah. Me like. Parang first time ko lang nalaro. Nalaro ko na to. Pangatlong beses ko na to nalaro. Doon sa pangalawa, yung pa rin yung pinili ko. Dito, yung pa rin pipiliin ko, syempre. The grounds are incredibly lush, filled with green. It doesn't feel like the kind of ground that school would have. More like a park with a clean walkway going past this and the smell of fresh cut grass and all other park-like things. Words like clean and hygienic pop into my mind. It makes me shudder. I shake them off. Stay open-minded now. It's your new life. You have to take it as it comes. Para kasi din sa mga you know, mga students, quote, other students. That's what I tell myself. A few big buildings loom behind the leafy canopies. Too big and too many for just a school. Everything seems off. It's different from what I thought I knew about schools. It's an uncanny valley, even though I was told this is my new school. In the back of my head, it doesn't feel like one. I wonder if the feeling is real or caused by my expectation of a school for the disabled. Speaking of that, I don't see anyone else here. It's kinda eerie. This makes me wish there was somebody here so I could anchor myself to something tangible instead of having this feeling that I stepped into another dimension. Uh-huh. The trees hum with the wind and the green hues flashing all around me catch my attention. It makes me think about hospitals again. How they say that the operating rooms are painted green because green is a calming color. Eh? Isa sa mga favorite ko ang green eh. Pero lagi akong galit. Galit pero mga nilalaro ko casual. Kahit dun sa sa Slither ayaw casual pa rin. So why am I feeling so anxious despite all this greenery? Para kasing hindi ka fit, parang gano'n. Parang hindi mo pa feel yung change or parang inaano mo pa. Dito, yung parang hindi mo pa ina-accept. Yata, yun ba yun? Tama ba? Hindi ko alam. Only after I stand in front of the haughty main building, I surprised myself by realizing why the gate bothered me. It was the last chance I had to turn back, even if I had no life I could return to. But tall man with bad posture notices me. Ano? Notice me? A tall man with bad posture notices me as I enter. We're the only people in the lobby, so it's only logical. You must be Nikki? Ano ba to? Isa din. Baka may bago ba to? Baka may binago sila. Hindi, nandito rin yan dati. Nakay. Isaw Nakay pala ako. Nakay isaw, ewan ko. So you are excellent. I'm your homeroom and science teacher. My name is Muto. Welcome. We exchange a handshake that is neither firm nor sloppy, and he looks at his watch. The head nurse asks you for a brief check-in visit, but there's no time for that now. Oh, should I go later? Yes, afternoon is probably fine. We should get going and introduce you to the rest of the class. They're waiting already. Waiting for me. I don't really like being the center of attention, but I guess it's inevitable in a situation like this. Somehow, not knowing what is waiting for me makes me feel really nervous. Thinking of this, I almost miss what the teacher is saying. Do you want to introduce yourself to the class? Bakit? Kailangan ba talaga? Siyempre, kailangan talaga yan. Yeah, kasi, di ba, transfer eh. Malaman naman nila ako. Yeah, sure, I mean, isn't that normal? Of course, but not everyone likes to be at the center of attention. I'm probably one of those people, but I guess I should be the one to give the first impression of myself. Right, but it's no problem. Let's go then. My heart is pounding in my chest, and it keeps me thinking about my condition as I follow the teacher up the stairs. The third door down the third floor corridor is marked as the classroom for class 3-3. Muto opens the door and enters. Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I'm late again. I hesitate for a split second at the door, freezing on the spot. Get a grip. This is a big step. I know that, but there isn't any point to worrying so much about it. At least not this soon. Ho. I follow the teacher into the classroom and look around partially so I won't have to meet the curious gaze of my new classmates. Damn, legit drawing. Sino nag-drawing nito? Type ko yung drawing mo. Pakis. Pakis. Kiss mo ako. I follow the teacher into the classroom and look around partially so I won't have to meet. Okay. It's pretty spacious. The ceiling is unusually high and there's a lot of space left over around and in between the desks. An entire wall taken up by blackboards and the high, old-fashioned windows only make it seem larger. The student desks are just a standard wooden desk with a shelf underneath for books. Muwantay na ako. And wooden chairs with metal frames, simple and efficient. Stop walking in front of the classroom and face the other students. They all look normal like students in any other school. Stop walking in front of the classroom and face the other students. They all look normal like students in any other school. But then why would they be here? Disabled sila. You know? They're probably like me and having something wrong with them. Only it's just not immediately obvious. Then I notice that one of the girls seems to be missing the thumb of her right hand. It's a little jarring. Right hand. Sino? Oh, hi. Despite the yes, I get. Despite the natural tendency to listen about you. I tune out the teacher's speech halfway through while he introduces me. Despite the natural tendency to listen when someone talks, I tune out the teacher's speech halfway through while he introduces me to the class. I notice a flash of dark hair and see that someone is looking at me. At a girl with really long straight hair that is pretty eye-catching, and she sees me looking back at her. She covers her face with her hands as if it will make her invisible. There's one boy with a cane leaning against the lockers at the rear of the class. It's dun tayo, dun sa kabila. Nasa kabila, nakita ko yun. Tanda ko yun. It's weird seeing someone so young with a cane. Another girl seems to be making some weird hand motions. Sign language. Naruto. sorry. She peers at me over the rims of her glasses. Toto. Then goes back to whatever she's doing. She's kind of good. So is that cheery looking girl with pink hair sitting next to her. She's really hard to miss. I don't know how I didn't notice her the moment I walked in. Please welcome our newest classmate. He clapped his hands, and so does everyone else, except one girl in the first row who was only one hand. I cringe a little, but hide it by bowing in thanks for this applause. I did not deserve. Sama mo tao pa ko dun. Masama. Bakit ka tumatawa? Wala na nga siyang kamay. Tumatawa ka pa. A collective silence tells me that I should open my mouth now. So, I'm Hisaw Nakai. And after that, my hobbies are reading and soccer. I hope to get along well with everyone, even though I'm a new student. And after that, I'm being so boring. This is exactly like every self-introduction ever. I should say something more exciting. I end up saying nothing, and the teacher speaks up from there. Everyone seems to be satisfied even with what little I said. The few girls are whispering to each other, throwing glances at me. It could have gone worse. Ang pangit niya, no? Hindi, sa tingin ko. Pogi siya. Mga ganon. Tingnan mo yung kanyang kala mo kung sino. Parang ganon. Hindi ba ganon? Tat. I listen to the teacher as he drones about getting along while letting my gaze sweep across the classroom. Everyone seems to be listening to him intensely, and when he's done, they clap their hands again, which feels like a weird thing to do. The first row girl claps on this round with her one hand against her other wrist that ends in a bandage stump. Makes me feel a little bad. I'm so. We're going to be doing some group work today, so that I'll give you a chance to talk with everyone. Is that okay with you? Yeah, it's fine with me. That's good. You can work with Hakamichi. She's the class representative. She can explain anything you might want to know, and who else would be able to do that better, right? How could I know? The teacher passes out the day's assignment and announces that we will be working in groups of 3. It hits me that I don't know who Hakamichi is. Slow. The teacher seems to catch my helpless expression. Alright, Hakamichi is right there. Shizune Hakamichi. As he calls out her name, the cute, bubbly-looking girl with bright pink hair and gold eyes waves her hand at me. I take a seat next to her by the window. Hey, I guess you're Hakamichi, right? It's nice to meet you. Shizune. What? I'm caught off guard by her laughter. It's nice to meet you too, but I'm not Hakamichi. Oh, astig. Misha. I'm not Hakamichi, I'm Misha. This is Hakamichi Shichan. Misha points to the girl next to her, the one I saw using sign language before. This looks like she has been staring at me this whole time. She adds what's nonchalant to show that she acknowledged my presence, but only barely. She has short yet carefully knit brushed hair, a pair of oval-shaped glasses balanced on the tip of her lazy nose, and dark blue eyes that seem to alternate every few seconds between Maybe it's the school. That's too casual. Maybe Shizune would be more appropriate. Tatatatat. Yup, Shizune is fine. Okay, that would be a lot easier for me. I feel a lot more at ease. Both of them seem so friendly. So I feel like an idiot for being so apprehensive earlier. Especially about Shizune, who I assume would be all business. Well, she still seems like that. Just let's so, I guess. That exclamation point. Huh? Oh right, we haven't even touched the assignment. We should start work now or Shichan will get mad. The assignment is also kind of long, or we should start now if we want to finish it before the end of class. Wahahaha, that's true. Tatatata. Shizune glares at the two of us impatiently. I don't need to know sign language to understand that. Okay, I get the message. Tatatatat. After class, we can take a walk around the grounds together. It's a nice day today, okay? The assignment is actually very challenging to get through, combining aspects of being both difficult and unnecessarily long. Nice. Still, we finished it a few minutes earlier than anyone else in the class. Despite our late start, Shizune and Misha are really capable. They're quite different though. The class rep is as calm and professional as she looks, while Misha is a lot more playful and girlish. I like Misha. I prove Misha. Kaso nga lang, ah, basta, laruin nyo na lang. Basta you know roots and shit. Basta malalaman nyo na lang. Good shit. Good. Misha. Nasa top tier waifu ko yan. Not to mention a little more easily distracted. To be honest, the two of them did most of the work. I feel guilty about that. Okay lang yan. Pasok mo lang naman. Diba? Kunyari, parang sabihin mo, masyado akong naglalag behind. Hindi pa nag-jack up yung aking brain. Hindi pa siya yung nagiging study mode. Kasi parang yung dito, yung parang yung first day ng school, yung parang hindi ka pa maano sa pag-aaral agad-agad. Pero may mga teacher na bibigyan agad kayo ng aral. Pero mas okay na nga yung pero iinis din yung yung parang halos lahat ng teacher pag i-introduction. Syempre, kasi syempre di alam ng teacher yung yung pangalan namin. Pero kami, yung parang limang teacher na. So, ang sawa na kami sa introduction namin. Pero, yung mga teacher na parang, bawat teacher may iba't ibang klase ng pinapaano. Kunyari, sa teacher, papa yung kung saan ka magaling, parang gano'n. You know. The clock tower bells ring, signaling the end of the period. Time for lunch. Without knowing what else to do, I follow Misha, who is beckoning me into the hallway and down the stairs. We descend even below the lobby where I met Muto, down to the bottom floor. Just like everything in this school, the cafeteria seems too spacious and oddly modern in contrast into the classic exterior. Its big windows open to the courtyard towards the main gate. I got everything I need to ask about the library. Alayan ko lang kung ano yung route na pinili ko para makuha yung yung bulag. Hindi ko alam. Pero mahilig ako magbasa. Pero pag bulag, bakit? Pag bulag ba nasa library? Hindi, pwede baka, yung ano, yung braille, di ba? Baka. So, mahilig naman ako magbasa, di ba? Ask about the library. Oh yes, there are library in the school. Lately, I've gotten into reading a lot, so I'd like to check it out. Siya gives the kind of round. Hindi ko na lang kasama yung aming reputation. So, ayan. Kung yun yung kapunta sa mga. Baka, balik ko sa part ko. Ulit tayo. Skip na. Para lang ako tayo sa tanan. Siya gives the kind of round that makes it clear that it's considering a healthy habit. But then picks up her smile again. There is it's in the second floor. We can show it to you sometime. So thanks. I return to my food while the girls talk to me. Misha and she signed back and forth very animatedly, throwing sideways glances at me. But Misha refrained from translating. Maybe they are talking about secret girl stuff or something. I quickly noticed the conversation inside is not enough to fill a silence. We arrived in the classroom early, but we're not the first. The dark-haired girl I noticed before is slumped over her desk at the last row. Oh, good shit yung paggamit ng, the format. Good. I like it. Parang nagtatago talaga. She jumps a little when, kahit naman, yun yung mga good sa visual novel na good shit. She jumps a little when Misha crashes into the room with elegance of a rhino. She shrinks deeper into her seat. I can feel her tension all the way from me. She was slowly turning into stone just from our presence. Misha and Shizune either don't notice or don't mind it as they walk directly past her to their seats and begin to converse. I'm left wondering about her even when the classroom slowly fills with other students and finally the teacher. Getting into the rhythm of school feels strange. It's as if my brain remembers how this is done, but my body doesn't. Paano ba ako mag-exit dito? How to exit? Enter? Oh. Nope. Shift. Control. Oh my god. Actual education for stuff that has nothing to do with that. Siyempre, pang therapy nga eh, sa mga student. I guess it's necessary for a place like this. I walk in hoping that this really will be only a quick visit like the teacher said. On a white door on the left is a green cross with the text, head nurse, and the nameplate. A voice from the inside responded to my knock almost immediately, but I can't quite make it out. It sounded a bit like an invitation to open the door, so I invite myself further in. The room is not large and it smells strange. A friendly-looking man turns around on his office chair to face me as I enter. His deck, ugh, his desk, his desk is so neat and tidy. His desk is neat and tidy, but the bin under the table is overflowing with used medical utensils. And there are at least a dozen coffee cup rings lingering on the desk. Hello there, General Kenobi. Hindi mo na ako nanonood ng Star Wars pero aram ko yun. Memes talaga. What can I do for you today? She is young, looking and sort of front, but the opposite wash that impression away when he smiles. Yung mga taong parang sama. Are you the nurse? He smiles like a person who has heard this very same question hundreds of times. Why yes, I am, says so on the door now. You can call me by my name or just the nurse like everyone. Of course, I take off my computer, realizing I probably should be getting this hand. His handshake rather than right, I'm not just the little going to come and meet you. My name is Katawa Shoujo. His eyes light up with revelation. Oh, you're that Sakai? I was just waiting your file in the morning. Some kind of chronic arrhythmia and related congenital heart not to be right. He gestured me to sit down in a vacant armchair in front of his desk. Yes. Good. Well, you've probably been briefed about this so I'll just go over this quickly. We have all kinds of facilities for physical therapy and such. There's always something for my staff around even at night. So never hesitate to call us if there is a problem. The famous 24-hour staff. Oh, this is like how to use that. Well, not exactly. Instead we don't do brain surgery. Joke. Almost so almost complete the testing available and training events. Yes, just that we work out so many medical people at these schools. So get used to it. I'm not so sure of the minutes, but I don't tell the nurse. Now let's just find your file again. Kusu. While he searched for something from his computer, ay, sa computer pala. Pachito na. From his computer, click. From his and shuffle stacks of papers around the head. I let my gaze wander around the room. It's the epitome of generic I like to see. Page walls and ceiling, dark gray laminated flooring, and all the equipment you'd expect from a school nurse office. Even the ridiculous educational poster are hanging on all four walls, reminding me to eat properly 3 times a day from all the food courts. Smiling, the nurse brought a big jar from a stack where definitely files thick with ripple. No. another attack is not a good idea. Was the previous one caused by a sudden concussion to the chest area? There is no mention of the cause in your papers. Or not exactly. I sidestepped the question acceptably, and he glanced at me over his papers with a more serious expression on his face. Still, you need to keep your body healthy, so some exercise would do you good. We have physical therapy and such. We have physical therapy and such available, as I said, but I don't think you really need such heavy measures. Just get some lightly exercise regularly. Brisk walks. Parang mabilis na paglalakad. Tama. Strength. Tama. Or even light jogging. Jumping rope. Sort of things. So I was told. You were very good. But anyway, I'm sure you've been told before. Just need to take care not to over-exert yourself. You want me to stick finger to emphasize the fact. No need really. I've heard this 1,000 times already. Absolutely no unnecessary risk. Absolutely no unnecessary risk. Take care of yourself. Okay. He goes over my papers one more time and sets them on the desk of his school. Good. That's it then. Come meet me if you ever need something. I'm ushered out before I even realize it. A quick visit indeed. I end up standing in front of the main building and the auxiliary building. Although to my eyes, they still look one and the same. God damn. It's the first real look I get at the other students, so I watch people coming out of the school going towards the gate or the dorms. Everyone seems to know where they are going, and I still keep thinking that most of them don't look too special for being students at a special school. Then again, neither do I. Does that make me one of them? One of us? One of us. I should go somewhere to prevent me from getting lost. It's around dinner time, but I feel tired instead of hungry. The weariness in me only grows as I trudge towards the door, set a little way apart from the main building complex. There's a garden of sorts between the school and the dorm. Shrubbery, flowers, and that overbearing smell of fresh cut grass that fills the atmosphere na masakit. Amoy yan kapag tulog ka. Maganda kapag gising, pero kapag tulog ka na, amoy yan, gising ka na lang talaga. Don't on my tired mind that the smell feels novel because I haven't been outside at all for so long. The dorm building is big and made of red brick like the others. It feels way too pompous for what it is. So I push forward going inside. It takes more time than necessary to fish out the key I was given. From my pocket. Room 119. Despite the ornate exterior, the inside of the dorm is fairly new, functional, and boring. Just like in the main building, the halls and doors are wide to accommodate wheelchairs. The same goes for the elevators at the ends of the hallways. I poke my head around the corner of the common room door. Inside, if few students are watching the television. One nods and gives a quick hello before turning back to the TV. Seems that only the girls around here are sociable. I suppose that's perfectly fine with me. I climb the stairs to the upper floor. Here, small corridors branch off from the main hallway. Each of these minor halls seems to have a toilet and shower as well as 4 rooms. About halfway down the hall, I spy room 119. The name plates on the rooms adjacent to mine are locked. I guess there are just 2 of us here. Light shines from below the door of room 117, so I knock lightly. Hello, is anyone home? From inside, I hear a few movements, then the clicking of way more locks than I thought these doors had. After a moment, the door squeaks open. The bespectacled boy is standing in the doorway. He is looking at me very intently through his extremely thick eyeglass. Ito ba yung yung parang yung friend na kailangan mo ito ganyan sa mga tsaka sa glasses. Kulang na lang yung, you know, yung thunder sa kanyang noo. Who is it? The spectacle soulmate. Blind? No, at least not completely. Why would he have eyeglasses if he was? He is closer to me until our nose are almost touching. His breath stinks of garlic. Isaw na kay. I'm moving into the next room. I thought I should introduce my His face suddenly brightened in realization and he stands back upright, thrusting his hand out in a smile greeting, almost straight to my diaphragm. Oh, sup, dude. Dude's Kenji. Hi. I take Kenji's sweaty hand and shake it, still a little rattled by the sudden change of attitude and vehement welcome. There was some suspicious looking people going in and out of your room earlier. It was probably my parents. Their parents, for sure, because they could have been some other people. You could judge a book by its cover. This out-of-place proverb is left hanging between us awkwardly as I try to think of some way to respond. I'd say the chances are high enough. He shudders and makes some exaggerated hand gestures. You're a brave man, Isaw. Me, I don't think I could trust the chances. The only one I trust is myself. Doesn't mean I shouldn't get to know you either. He thinks about it for a while. A wise decision. Truly, boy. Damn, you are smarter than you look. Probably. What do you look like? I hope not smart. He squints his eye and leans closer again, but I lean backwards to dodge. Never mind, it doesn't matter. With that, he turns around for a moment in search of the door handle and shuts the door behind him. I slide the key into the lock of the door marked 119. Malabo mata, di ba? Kaya di natin makita yung mata, masyadong makapal yung lens. Parang ganun ba yun? Bleak beige walls, white linen, a desk made of some type of light wood, ugly curtains. It's no one's room, impersonal, like my hospital room was. My bag are sitting at the foot of my bed, looking a lot emptier than they did this morning. The closet is sitting open, stuck with my clothes. Also, it seems that there are a number of school uniforms hanging there as well. A note is pinned to the sleeve of one of the shirts. Hi, Hichan! Kaya ayaw niya ng Hichan kasi hindi yung tawag ng kanyang magulang niya sa kanya. Oh, good shit. Or, ngayon ko lang ba nalaman na parang kanina tinawag na rin, hindi ko lang napansin. We've unpacked your things and make your bed. They said that if this doesn't fit, then you should go to the office tomorrow. If you had any problems, you can always call us. Love. Ukasan to Otosan. Well, at least I don't have to worry about unpacking. I kind of hope I would have, then there would be something to do. It's still too early. I put the note down on the desktop and lie down on the bed, feeling drained. Lying there makes me want to read something, but I have nothing with me. I wonder if the hospital conditioned me for wanting to read whenever I have nothing to do. The restless urge just keeps growing until I have to stand up. Maybe it's stress or something. I was pretty nervous about it before coming and for the entire day today too. I still am, I think. Damn, I have to distract myself somehow so I won't be this unnatural all the time. Tomorrow I'll go borrow some books from the library. Wala yung pangalan. Yeah, I'll do that. But for now, the bottles of medications neatly arranged on my night table catch my eye. I pick up one and shake it just to hear. I pick up one and shake it just to hear the contents rattle inside. And then read glued on pharmacy label. Isaw na kay. 2 tablets daily to stay alive. Thank you. I do like staying alive. I do like staying alive. It doesn't really say that, but it could just as well. Hindi ba sinabi? It kinda twisted having your life depend on chemicals like this. I resent it a little, but what choice do I have? Hey, don't make fun of it. Isa yan sa mga creation ng ating mahiwagang mga dating mga tao. Sinacrifice nila yung sarili nila para magkaroon lang ng medicine or kung ano man. From herbal to this concentrated medicine, you know. Bakit ko nalaman? Hindi ko rin alam. Kung ano kasi nalalaman ko. Manga, anime, kung ano man sa YouTube. I resent it a little, but what choice do I have? Wait as I begin my new daily ritual of taking the right number of pills from each bottle, being careful to check the correct dosages. I lie down again, feeling hollow and uncertain, and after that, I keep staring at the blank, unfamiliar ceiling for a long time. It doesn't start looking any more familiar, not even after darkness falls and long shadows draw across my room like fingers. The sheets feel slightly more comfortable, warm and nest like against the chill that passes for room temperature here. Soon, the lighter shade of darkness that is the ceiling looks like every ceiling does at night, and it becomes the only thing I recognize anymore. The night beckons me to sleep, and I feel the coldness of unfamiliarity and fear creeping up my spine once again. I keep drifting further away from the world I knew. Oh, nice. Ina. Good. Stop na ba tayo? Hindi pa natin nakakita yung bulag, yung ating mahiwagang, darito, yung ating mahiwagang target. Ang pangalan nga uli nun? Hindi ko maalala. Basta yung bulag. Maganda si Onesan. I wake up in a strange room. Solid morning light shimmers against the light gray ceiling. I had forgotten to draw the curtains closed last night. Question mark? This is my room, isn't it? My room. This is the third room this year that I'm supposed to call mine. Various things around here remind me that indeed it's me who is supposed to be the one living here. My bags on the floor, my new school books on the desk, my numerous medication on the night table. I stare at the bottles for a moment, deliberating until I open a bottle, shake out a pill, and pop out a tablet from a foil sheet. I down them with a chaser of water without thinking about the chemistry. My uniforms are in the closet. I sneak out from under the sheets and stretch my back before dressing up. Putting on a new school uniform feels like dressing in someone else's clothes. The artificial smells of generic detergent invades my nose, but the feeling of fresh cloth against my back is a good one, a natural one. It feels like a school uniform, as it should. It's not much different from what I used to wear before. That goes for other things too. So far, this place seems more or less like a normal school, except for the people. I think back to my talk with Kenji yesterday, Misha's constant laughter and Shizuna's sleeping sign language gestures. Well, I've only met 3 students so far. Maybe they aren't that normal, but I'm sure others are. Or perhaps people like them are what passes for normal around here. Yeah, what does pass for normal around here? What do people do? I didn't see a lot of kids hanging around after class yesterday, so maybe there are clubs. If so, I wonder if I should join one. Reading club, literature, Toki literature, DDLC na naman. All through class, the question remains on my mind, so I decided to ask Shizune about it when we split into groups. After all, she did say if I had anything I wanted to know, I should ask her. She crossed her arms and shifted her gaze slowly to Misha, who looks more preoccupied with trying to grind the erases of her pencil down so that the top is perfectly and evenly flat. Oh, blushing with, me like. Short hair glasses, me like. Pero, masyado akong madaldal. Ayoko na, mute. Sorry. Sorry! Sorry, Shin-chan. Is there something you wanted from me? Oh, I see. That's a good question, Hichan. My first thought is that means she doesn't know, which is worrying. Maybe I'm being too negative. Well, anyway, Misha, please don't prove me right. Tatat. Oh, that's right. Everyone is encouraged to join a club. A lot of people do so because there isn't really anything else to do. There are also school school events like the festival coming up in a few days. Almost every student in the school tends to help out with it, doing whatever. So you actually transferred in at your busy time. Maybe you can help out too. Sure. What's the festival about? Misha freezes. Wahaha, I don't know, Hichan. The truth is it's a local event and I'm not from this area, so she starts signing desperately to Shizune, asking her to bail her out. Shizune adjusts to her glasses at the end of an oddly grandiose flourish and starts singing hard and singing tuloy, signing hard and heavy. Batatat. Huh? Oh, who cares? Misha puffs out her chest as she shouts. Shizune swirled out with a disproportionate amount of pride. Too loud. I can see heads turning to look in our direction. Not so loud. Humans being evolved with each new generation. The ideals and beliefs behind a festival inevitably change with time. True. Natatat. Exclamation point. Now it's about delicious fried food and amusing little games that you play to win prizes. The teacher clears his throat very loudly, battling his long wooden pointer against his other palm like a baton. He shoots a pointed gaze at us. Finally noticing where we are, Misha stifles a yelp and quietly quiets down. Kizune doesn't seem embarrassed at all, though, brushing it off without a care. We're in the middle of class and should start working. That's right, Shi-chan. What? That's right, Shi-chan. Are you asking about your interest? Are you asking because you're interested in joining a club? It could have been my eyes playing tricks on me, but I think I saw a suspicious glance exchange between them. Misha's tone has also changed, although it was that every other word anyway. Yeah, I was thinking about it. Misha and Shizune look at each other again. I'm about to ask what they have in mind when something dark flutters in my peripheral vision. Out of the corner of my eye, I see the girl with long dark hair get up from her desk and slip silently towards the door. It doesn't seem like she was working in any group, and no one seems to notice her but me. I glance at the teacher who also looking at the dark-haired girl go. Why doesn't he say anything? Hichan, is something wrong? Do I look as uneasy as I feel? Or was Misha just looking at me, looking at the girl who left? Is Misha just looking at me, looking at the teacher that looking after the girl that I'm looking at? Tinitingnan niya ba ako? Dun tinitingnan ko yung tinitingnan niya? Isipin mo. No, nothing. Okay, like we were asking, you don't have any plans for lunch today, do you? I thought I would go to the library and pick up some books. Not really. Do you want to have lunch together then? Sure. Tat. Yay, wahahaha. Okay, Hichan, perfect. The rest of class passes uneventfully. The girl with the long hair never came back. Before I have the time to put any more thought into where she could have gone, the teacher informed us that it's time to stop working. She then looks looks more than a little annoyed that we only just barely managed to finish all our work on time. I'm just glad we finished it at all. It's not a contest or anything. Tat. Yes, it is, Hichan. Impossible. Really? Really? I've noticed this before, but it's kind of funny how Misha is always moving her hands and signing not only everything she says, but what anyone else is saying at any given time. Obviously must be so Shizune can understand it. Her eyes dart back and forth between Misha's hands and I don't know who I'm supposed to be looking at. I'm talking to Misha, but that might be wrong. Maybe I should face Shizune. I'm used to looking in the direction of the person whose voice I'm hearing, but really, Shizune can hear me, but it would be but it would be disrespectful to talk to her only through Misha. Then again, I how dark and blue her eyes are. It's truly an alluring gaze. Tatatatat. Are you sure, Hichan? Very sure. Tatatatat. Haha, you're wrong, Hichan, because I don't want to be the slowest one in the class. Therefore, what's on the line is my confidence in my ability and the price is the satisfaction of proving them. Wahahaha. Shizune pushes her glasses up the bridge of her nose in a very matter-of-fact way. I'd argue more, but the best thing is she quickly gets up and picks up her bag, looking at me expectantly. I had almost forgotten that I was supposed to have lunch with them. Tatatata. Where do you want to eat? The cafeteria? Haha, that's open. Okay, let's go. Well, I guess at my old school, I like to eat outside near the back of the building. It was a good spot, but I didn't find it until the near end of my freshman year. I wonder if there's a similar place to eat here. Misha seems to imply as much. May pwede kang lumabas din para kumain. Mas gusto ko yun. Mas good shit. Sa school ko din maganda yung mas lumabas ka, tapos dun ka kumain. May mga malapitan. Pero yung nandun pa sa ibang school yun. Sa ibang school. Tapos, ang layo ng mga kainan. Kaya school lang. Mas maganda yung may mga kainan talaga sa labas. Pero what can I say? Masarap yung libreng sabaw. Shizune and Misha pull me towards the cafeteria, which is surprisingly not packed. Maybe some students favor eating in classroom or outdoors. I saw some of my classmates had boxed lunches. After we finished eating, Misha picks up where we left off earlier. So, Hichan, you wanted to know about clubs and stuff, right? Right? Right, Hichan. Okay, I guess it makes sense to ask first. Exchanging little nods of confirmation. She turned to face me again, and Misha stayed in her posture as if she is about to deliver a speech. Hichan, do you have anything you're really interested in? I used to play soccer, but I'm not really into it. I don't follow the things and trends or anything like that. As of late, I usually just read a lot. There's a book club, right, Hichan? Right? But it seems like they have all members they can possibly have right now. Sorry, Hichan, it's a really popular club. Little Red, Noki Little Red Club? Okay, but more to the point. Hichan, does this mean that you don't have anything already in mind? Not really. Good, great, that's great. Hichan, really great. Hahaha. Wahahaha. Parang Demon Lord. Wahahaha. You fell in my trap. Why is it so great? No reason. Well, Hichan, other than the clubs and the upcoming festival, there's one other thing. Student council. I see, I didn't know this school had a student council. It was a very melodramatic setup. Just to tell me that, natandaan ko na nasa student council pala si yung nakangini. Si Onesama. I'm pretty sure the two of them know this because Shizune looks a little embarrassed about it and Misha is laughing. Shizune quickly takes control of the discussion in a the aggressive glint returns to her eyes. Tatatata. Wow, that's interesting. Hichan, let's play again. That's not what I said. How about rich man, poor man, Hichan? If you lose, you have to join the student council. No, absolutely not. Why not? Well, because you do have the same incentive. And therefore the same goal, which is to get me to join the student council, right? Tatatata. Yup. Yeah, that isn't my goal. But what this means is that both of you can team up. I bet clear a disadvantage, so I will have to decline. Hichan, I'm very offended. You say you don't trust us and that we would build something so disingenuous. It makes me sad. Sorry. Sir to tell her she just influenced and Misha's thoughts begin. Or you thought on for hurting a younger spelling. Feelings. You should definitely join the student council. No. I want a game of paper football instead of rich man, poor man. Paper football. Yeah, it's a game they play in America. You make a paper. Hindi ba ako makapagbasa? Make a paper triangle and when you try to shoot it past goalpost, that's the other player makes it their fingers. Isn't it cool? It's the ultimate form of competition between two people, Hichan. Tatatata. And it's also played by elementary and middle school children. Hichan. Wahaha. That means it's a game that really separates the boys from the men. More like the boys from the slightly older boys. Anyway, I'm not going to play that either. Just the fact that you know about it is you're probably surprisingly good at it. Yeah. How did you know it? Susan and Bronx admission telling me that she probably wasn't have the most consistent already. Masyado naman. Pero okay na yan. Shit, parang sorry. I wouldn't say that I'm happy with their attempts to get me into the student council, but I'm little curious about what the student council does here. I've never been on one before or even known anybody who was a member, so it interests me. I also kind of like Shizune and Misha, so maybe it wouldn't be so bad. Okay, Hichan, how about this? The game of world domination. I don't know what that is. Really fun, Hichan. You fight to control of the world with armies and everything. Something like Shizune would be good at it. If you want to play, we can after school. Talaga, I don't like the headset in my head. Tatatata. Really, Shichan? We can play just for fun, Hichan. Shichan hasn't played in a long time, so if you want to, there's no strings attached. Well, okay. Okay, perfect. We'll see you after school in the student council of the Hichan. Wait, why there? Because that's where we keep the game. Wahahaha. Matalino. Nag-remix to tell them how much I do not like this. But it's more of for show than anything. So in the end, I agree, but only after getting Shizune to acknowledge that I don't mean anything wrong, but just by accepting to take a look around and play a game with her. So in lunch and then we go back to class. During afternoon classes, the long-haired girl comes back and sits down in her seat. Without a word. Again, no one seems to notice, or if they do, no one says anything. I want to ask Misha about it, but I don't want to be nosy. After school, Shizune and Misha quickly find me by the first floor lobby and latch onto me, hovering each flank in case I might try to escape. I feel a little offended that they're on their guard. What's with the escort? It doesn't make me feel very comfortable. In fact, it makes me feel like a dangerous prisoner being transported to his cell. Wahaha, what's wrong, Hichan? That's right, we're just going to play a game of risk, remember? I don't know. Misha, this all seems a little sinister to me. I start thinking that when we sit down to play the game, they'll tie me down and torture me until I agree to join the student council. Well, that's highly unlikely, but still, for some reason, it's just like it would be so plausible.
makes you guys seem being so on top of me seem a little silly. That's not true, Hichan says that when their life is threatened, people have shown that capability to pull off superhuman burst of speed. Life is threatened. Her expressions unchanging. Misha signs something obviously to Shizune, who makes a baffling face and put her hands behind her back, losing place to herself. Misha feigns deafness and hums cheerily, so stop that. Stop that. I know you heard me. You have no excuses, unlike Shizune. Shizune opens the door to the student council room. It's a very plain, sparsely decorated room, although it is quite large, maybe even a little larger than a classroom. There's a big table in the center surrounded by chairs, and a smaller desk prominently placed in the back that I assume is Shizune's. There are there are a few regular desks and chairs stacked to one side as well. Extras, perhaps. Aside from the tables and chairs, the room doesn't have much else to offer. Just a couple of filing cabinets and bookshelves stacked with old school records and documents. Not much else. In fact, nothing else. This is a pretty bleak room. They could at least put a potted plant in here or something. But the most noticeable thing that this room doesn't have is other people. Are we early? That. No? What do you mean no? Does it mean nobody else is coming today? That. Yeah, that's right. Before I manage to ask why that's the case, Shizune claps her hands together very energetically. That. Hichan, let's play Risk. Come on, you promised, didn't you? You have to. Haha, okay. Okay. Do you want to know the rules? We can explain to you while we set everything up. While Misha is talking, Shizune takes out what looks like a board game from behind one of the filing cabinets and throws it on the table. Actually, this looks kind of interesting. After Misha spends a little too long for her liking through the basics with a somewhat vague and confusing tutorial, Shizune cuts in and declares the game has started with a decisive motion, slicing her arm through the air. Shizune's aggressiveness is rubbing off onto me. I started feeling more competitive than I intended to be when I agreed to this. Halfway into the game, while I tried to ponder how to defend against Shizune's assault, from two fronts, she breaks my concentration by jamming her fingers on the table to get my attention. Ano ba itong larong stories? Meron akong alam na magandang laro. Game of General. Sabi ng kapatid ko, Filipino game daw yun eh. Good shit. Parang hindi mo alam yung ano nila, tapos iba't ibang places, pero pare-pares lang na piece. Tapos basta, hindi ko nakakalimutan ko na Game of General. Good shit. Parang ganito ba to? Yung race. Or parang chess or no, dominos. Go. Dominos. Ganito yung ano na. Checkers pala. Hichan wants you to know that you are taking too long to make a move. Hichan also says that she will let you flip Australia if you agree to join the student council. I thought this was a game with no strings attached. It's the fact that she would dangle that over my head as an offer means that she knows I care about the outcome of this game. And anyway, no. Hichan admires your fighting style and would be a benevolent dictator who will spare your people if you agree to join the student council. Hahahaha. You're so competitive, Shizune. She seemed to take this as a compliment. I would expect a student council president to be a little more magnanimous. Magnanimous? Hindi niya kayang i-sign. She doesn't seem to know what the word means or how it's signed. So she pulls out a piece of paper right for Shizune, who in the sign it back to Misha. Misha pressed her index fingers against her temples as if trying to physically insert the word into her memory. Suddenly, Shizune burst into a flurry of gestures. Misha looked daunted by the face of her heated signing. Wait, please slow down, Hichan, just as you're going to lose. Tell her I will crush her world empire with my rebellion. Okay. Drawing, which is yung drawing. Those eyes of her shine with childlike mischief. She says you have no chance if you keep playing like this. No, you won't. She has a point. Attack aggressively. interrupt. It's smarter to play this. Kaya sa point, attack ka sa he's either really mocking me or trying to trick me. I have nothing else to lose though, so I might as well try something different. Attack, 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 attack na. Offense is the best defense. Tama, tama. Maybe if I spread out my forces and try to control more territories, I can recoup the advantage. Izuna seems to focusing on conquering whole nations, so maybe I can sacrifice my hold on continents to gain more small countries. It's worth a shot. A few turns later, I end up losing the game anyway. Mananalo ka ba kapag ibang choice ang pinili mo? Ay, di ko na naman pala si Tape. Oh, I'm so baka. She's gonna adjust her glasses victoriously and allow herself to sensibly pop exist in the air in celebration. Tatatata. I win, yay. There's no need to translate that into pretty clear. Hahaha, don't look so sad, Ethan. You were really giving it your best, that's what I thought. Sometimes your best just isn't good enough. So, if anyone knows that, it's me. You did very well for someone who just learned how to play today. Tat. Ah, hindi siya parang Game of Thrones style dito. Ito na. Ano? Parang na. Nakalimutan ko yung pangalan. Civilization. Civilization. Baka. Pero bakit board game? Ano ba talagang board game? Amazing. Baka nga galing sa board game. Kitchen yung attack Iceland and North America at the same time. That's a very scary movie. Kitchen is impressed. Tat. The mark of great people is that they are daring and that they can follow through. You are already halfway there, except that great Kitchen. That isn't enough though, just potential isn't enough. There is no point to potential if you don't take the first step. And there is no point to that if you don't keep going. I want to see more. You're right, Hichan, but that's so demanding. Season leans forward, suddenly look at less playful and more like the serious person I expected her to be from the start. Tat. Hichan, would you like to join the student council? She really doesn't waste any time, does she? But it's only my second day of school, so I'm hesitant about committing to something so early. I haven't even taken a look at any other clubs yet. But spending time with Shizune and Misha doesn't seem like something I would hate. I still need more time to think about it before I decided for sure. Maybe I'll get back to you on it. Tat. Okay, Hichan, but I hope you're not just saying that so we don't feel bad. No, really. Really? Hichan, if you're going to say that, you're saying that it is definitely that it is definitely the truth, but nothing but the truth. Mahal yung aking boses. And there can't be any mistaking it. I know. I guess I should have my revenge for losing at the very least. Shizune smiles at that in a mischievous way that feels like twisting the knife in the wood of my thoughts. I think I glance at the clock on the board figure who spent far longer playing Risk than I expected. Sorry, I think I have to go. I have to go. I wanted to go to the library. It's not closed yet, is it? Shizune scratches her head and gestures at Misha. How hard can it be to determine whether the library is open? There's a clock on the wall. It should be unless the librarian is absent. I think you're right, Shichan. We think the library is open. It's on the second floor. You can miss it. Do you want us to show you where it is? No thanks. It's okay. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Hmm. Nauuhaw ako. Umaano yung labi ko. Nadadry. Ah, good. One flight of stairs up, I ran into problems. The second floor hallway is a carbon copy of the third floor one. Wide, of course, and plain, like only hallways can be. The problem is that library surabas are not as easily determined as one would think. The classrooms are marked with signs stating which class they belong to, but then there's a plethora of other unmarked rooms. the library one of them, or is it just somewhere down the hallway? I bet on the latter and choose my direction at random. After I turned around the corner, an unmarked door draws my attention because it's not closed. It's not open either, just barely ajar. Ajar? Ano yung ajar? Just barely afar or ajar? Afar, ajar, agar, atar? Eh, ajar so that I can see it's open and nothing else. It would make sense for the library door to be invitingly open, and while this one is not quite that, this is good enough. At the very least, it means that someone is inside, and I can ask for direction no matter how embarrassing that is. I gingerly push on the center of the door with my fingertips, every muscle in my arm, ready to pull back at a moment's notice. The feeling of being an outsider to this school can't be shaken from my mind. So much that I instinctively fear doing something wrong by entering. The door slowly creaks as if groaning from a deep sleep, though it's much easier to open than I'd anticipated. Leaning over and poking my head over further inside to gain sight of the room as fast as possible. The mic. Hello. 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 Pero patanong to. Hello? On my lips is quickly snatched away. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, show image. Print screen. Print screen na print screen ko ba? Hindi ko alam. Nice. Enter. Ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo. Si si Blind Onesama. My true love. This is not as I was expecting. I mindlessly let the door open to its full extent, taking in the sight of solitary figure taking center stage in the otherwise abandoned room. The situation steals my voice, leaving me standing at the doorway, staring at the beautiful girl. Yeah. Beautiful indeed. Evidently having taken her time to assess the situation, the girl gently pulls down her teacup and opens her eyes, but doesn't look at me. Wavy-haired girl. I do like wavy. Wavy, short hair, glasses, beauty mark, malapit sa lips, or sa mata. Good shit. Sabi ko lang yung mga gusto ko yun. Napaka-specific. Tags pala yung kung alam mo sinasabi ko. Haha. Staring directly in front of her chest, the movement of her lips seemed to break the silence other than the words. However, it's the soft, measured voice that reminds me she's being separate from the room itself. Not only is she likely the tallest girl I've ever laid eyes on, but even among the foreigners I've met, she's strikingly distinct. Hi, sorry for intruding. I was just kind of lost. She takes a moment to formulate a response before speaking. Every action she takes feels as if it's carefully choreographed beforehand. Care to take her seat? Unexpected, considering that I'm intruding upon her. Thanks. I slowly step forward towards another seat opposite her, the girl resting the teacup and saucer on the wooden table in between. The way she doesn't track my movements with her head is telling, that and the slight cloudiness of her eyes means that she must be at least partially blind, like Kenji. Come to think of it, her voice doesn't have any detectable accent either. I guess she must be half Japanese. Half. Nice! Wait lang, Japan tayo? Are we Japanese? As I take my... Siyempre, Japanese. Hisaw. Nakahisaw. As I take my seat, her composure takes me slightly off guard. Her air of relaxed confidence makes the silence entirely comfortable. The calming atmosphere is so very different from the student council office. I take it. You're a new student to Yamako? Yeah, I just transferred in yesterday. I get the distinct feeling my speech patterns don't match the formality of hers. What a princess. Accentuated by her restrained bow of greeting. one which I hastened to match before realizing the futility of the action. I'm Lily Sato. Pleased to meet you. Hisao, Hisao Nakai. She gives a nod before gesturing roughly in the direction of her kneecap. Lily-sama. Lily-sama. Would you care for a drink? Sure. As much as it pains me, I can keep step with her formality in the proceedings. She gives a kind nod, taking the request in stride. Without another word, she steps off the chair and prepares a second cup of tea from a collection supplies laid out along a shelf. A brush here, a brush there, her left hand often lightly touching the side of whichever container she's putting on into. It seems to be a process she's followed dozens of times before. As I lean sideways to see around her back, she seems to use her long, dainty finger to measure the right amount of water in the cup. It's one thing to see the different disabilities that students in my class have, but it's quite another to see how everyone seems to adapt. Shizune and Misha have no problem working together to communicate to me, and Lily herself seems to have workarounds for problems I've never thought of. Napapagod. While I feel slightly guilty about her doing the work, she seems pleased to be following the correct process of the offerer, preparing the drink. So, her voice, her soft voice brings me out of my silent observance. Phew, Lily-sama? Which room were you looking for? It's not often this classroom is visited after school. The school library, Shizune and me, some classmates told me it was on this floor. She finishes pouring water into the teacup as she nods, a smell metallic tapping coming from the teacup indicating it being stirred. I'm aware of Miss Hakamichi, as are most students. To be with them, that means you're in class 3-3, no? That's right, in the science room with Moto. She gives a small giggle before setting down the teaspoon and slowly walking towards the table, teacup and saucer in hand. Hey, I really like Ojo-sama, dito? Kind Ojo-sama. Mga meron sa mga ano ngayon yung villainous na manga. Motherfucker. Parang isekai lang eh. Parang isekai din pala yun. Villainous lang. Nagiging overrated. sorry. Pero I like Ojo-sama. He's quite a character. I imagine you'll come to like him. Most do. Phew! Two-shot. Meron kaming two-shot. Ito na lang ba? As she sets down the tea, I gently take it and have a sip. I'm really more of a coffee person, but this seems like a rather bad moment to bring it up. Mapapalitan kasi. Sige, ito na lang. Show image. Print screen. Nice. Pang thumbnail. Nonetheless, the smell is quite nice. I hardly think it is very hard to choke down. Thanks, Sato. It tastes really nice. She smiles and quickly waves her hand in front of hers. Bakit Sato? Lily-sama. She smiles and quickly waves her hand in front of her face. Lily, please. There's no need to be too formal. O, diba? Sabi ko, Lily kasi. Pero may sama. Kailangan mong maging respectful. She says this in spite of her exceedingly well-bred speech. Oh well. I guess I should try and asking her about herself as it really does seem as if she's catering to me. So which class are you from? I imagine it's one of the third year classes. Correct, I am in class 3-2, which is on the third floor, same as yours. It's taught by Miyagi, and is specifically for both blind and partially blind. Huh? Hindi ko nabasa. Specifically blind students. I see. I'm sorry. I see. Yes, I see. Blind, I see. See? I feel like slapping myself for the fox past looking at her face. Though she doesn't seem in the little this bit put off by it. My. There's no need to change your speech on my account. Sure, sorry, I guess I'm really showing my newness here. An environment like this would be a big change, so I can fault you for it. While the same can be said for everyone, may have come to terms with their condition. A category which would include her seems all too ready to jump ship from this particular topic. I segue. Diba alam ko, segue yan, segue. Yung S-E-G-W-A. Segue. Segue. I segue into another. Do you come here to drink often? It's a really nice place. Thinking on it, this might be a version of the place behind my school that I like to have lunch at. I come here fairly often during lunchtime. My duties as a class representative don't leave enough for an official club. So a friend and I use this room for having tea. Class representative, huh? Compared to Shizune, her mannerisms to be almost completely opposite. While Shizune's blunt and fiercely driven, Lily seems relaxed and calm, almost aloof. I like aloof girls. Wavy aloof girls. That's so straight, wavy aloof girls. Come to think of it, she might be useful for a less biased view of the school clubs. What kinds of clubs are there to join? The more popular ones are the track and field club, which uses the field near the school during lunchtime. The baseball club and the book club in a room near the library. There are also numerous small ones too, those such as the art and music clubs. At a time when I'm just wanting to get on my feet, rushing into a club right away seems slightly unappealing. I wonder if the school shares the same rule as my old one. Is it compulsory to join a club? It isn't, though it is encouraged. Kakal mo sinabi niya kanina, hindi ka ba nakikinig? Kisao. Wait lang, may sipon ako. Warning, volume warning, baka malakas. Sorry. It isn't, though it is encouraged. Good, that's a relief. Meron pa ako sagot. Tumutulo. I really let down my guard around this girl to let such a thing slip out. The fact seemed to slightly amuse her. Not wanting my tea to get cold, I finally start drinking it as Lily does the same. Wait, parang mas maganda yung kulay. Nakainis naman. Pwede mo naman ata makita yung mga nasa, diba? carefully slowed to match hers. We slowly walked through the hallway. It doesn't take long for us to arrive at the door to the warm-looking room, apparently situated in the center of the floor rather than either wing. Ladies first. She gives an appreciative smile at the gesture, taking the lead as we file in. Siyempre, you gonna be nice to whom you gonna be simping to. Wait lang, anong oras na? Oh my god, 2 hours. Nakita, nakita niyo ba yan? 2 hours. Ano ba? Okay din, masyado yatang malakas. Babaan natin ng konti. 35. Sana naman narinig niyo ako. Baka natatabunan na. Oh my god, natabunan yata ako ng music. Tingnan ko na lang mamaya. Pero hindi pa tayo mag-quit. Huwag kayo mag-alala. Ano? 3 hours? Maybe. To the left is the wooden library counter, with the library proper being on the right. It easily dwarfs my old school's library, with the distinct smell of old books, giving the place an almost old world air. There don't seem to be a lot of students here, considering the time. It isn't a big surprise. Everyone's probably either in the school grounds or the dorms. Yuko, are you here? She says it to thin air, since the library doesn't seem to be present, and of course Lily can see this. What's unexpected is that it's draw a reaction. Something from under the counter thuds against it, followed by a quiet wail. Ah! Phew! Megane Shoujo! Nice! Another Megane with freckles. Ah! Good! The origin, apparently the librarian, quickly crawls out and bounces up to extremely rigid attention. Lily, how can I help you? Her voice is strained in failing attempt to sound casual, and she's rubbing the back of her head. Good afternoon. What happened just now? I heard a strange sound. It's nothing, I just hit my head. See, I dropped an eraser under my desk, and while I was looking for it, a pencil dropped, and while I was looking for both of them, then you came and surprised me. Oh, Megan Klotz Megane. How cliche, but nice. Are you alright? I'm sorry, I couldn't know. It's okay. Sorry for making you worry. This is nothing, I've had worse happen to me. She's quick to reverse Lily's apologies, almost frantically trying to push aside the possibility that she could be in any way inconvenienced by bashing her head on the counter. Yes, worse things have happened, hehehe. The girl fidgets with her fingers as Lily doesn't seem to drop her concerned expression, and then she shuffles some papers around the counter for no reason. A little shorter than Lily, replete with glasses, freckles, and a very troubled look, she seems to fit a library perfectly. How judgmental, but pretty true. What a fuck. What a fuck. A little, prejudice. Prejudice. Judgmental. Ah, Lily, did you get my message? But good. Message. Oh, the 2 imported books that arrived. Right, they finally came. I can't believe it took so long, but I missed her celebration, partially for managing to change the topic. I'm sure she'd notice me from the corner of her eyes and freezes on the spot when she does. Oh no, I'm sorry for not noticing you before. Did you need to check out a book or return one? I'm sorry. The way she can so quickly shift between moves is a little unsettling. He's with me. Yuko, this is Hisao, a new student. Hisao, this is Yuko, the school librarian. Oh, welcome. Pleased to meet you. Bowing, kasi with my highness on my side, to make me look formal. Hisao, right? Hisao. Pleased to meet you too, Hisao. For a second, she visibly attempts to engrave the name on her mind so she won't forget. Yuko often arrange to import foreign books in Braille. Diba? Tama ako sa Braille. Braille o Braille? Hindi ko alam kung ano yung tamang pronunciation. Sorry. For me. Would you like to tell Hisao a little something about the library? Lily's innocent suggestion is met with an expression of abject terror. Ay, please Lily, I can't. I don't know what he could be interested in. This is too much responsibility. How how it's any responsibility at all, I don't get. But her objection is so sincere, I don't doubt for a second that she would rather disembowel herself on the spot than tell me where the light novels are. Light novels, ano? Kala ko ng libro, light novels ka din pala, mame. But, so there are a lot of books and Bible in here. I attempt to save the day by asking the first thing that pops into my head. It seems to work at least partially, as Yuka seems to not exactly relax, but at least look slightly less tense. Well, I think about a third or a fourth of Yamaku's library is either in Braille or audio. Oh, audio. Audio books. Nag-try ako ng audiobook pero hindi ko, parang gusto ko kasi yung parang kaya mas gusto ko manga or light novel. May sariling pace kaysa sa anime. Minsan binaba ko pa yung anime para lang makita ko lang ulit yung ano. Sa manga kasi may sarili kang pace. Parang nasabi ko na to sa'yo dati. Makes sense given all the blind students that would be here. If it's only that, how come this library is so big in the first place? We'll get a lot of new books regularly because the library is adequately endowed. That's probably why. They spend more on new books than on my salary. Oh, and then I have to organize and shelve all of them. It's so troublesome and they weigh so much. I wish I could quit this job. What the A very awkward silence followed this revelation of too much information. I'll go check the aisles then if you don't mind. It's probably best for all of us if she doesn't keep talking to me. Very well. Meanwhile, Yoko, I would have those books if it's alright with you. My first impression was right. The library is surprisingly big. Ambling down the narrow aisles, I studied the spines of the books in random order, occasionally sliding one out to read the blurb. Blurb? Taking it, ano yung blurb? What's blurb? Taking it with me if it looks good. In a few moments, I have a respectable stack of books in my arms. I'll never be stuck for choice in here. The normality of the library sinks in. Sure, there are large print and braille books scattered throughout, but it is what it is. It is what it is. A library. It's as if the calm mood from the room I had tea with Lily in snuck with us in here, unless it was here to begin with. Haha. Something about that puts me at ease just like before. Thank you, Lily-sama. I reach the end of the aisle and find a collection of desks set up for study or personal reading. Going a little further, though, I discovered a nice quiet corner at the back. While the rest of the library has the odd student sitting at a desk either reading or stealthily sleeping. Meron ba stealthily sleeping? Maybe. Para kang ninja sleeper, if that makes sense. The back is pretty much deserted. As I glance around, I see someone who I recognize sitting on one of several beanbags. It's the dark-haired girl from my class, the one who snuck out the classroom earlier. She's reading a book, keeping it close to her face, which makes her look like she's really into it. From the way she was acting today, I had her pegged as more of a delinquent than a bookworm. In fact, her mysterious disappearance from the classes raised all sorts of whys in my head. Why? Intrigue floats slowly but surely towards the girl, and before I know it, I'm walking toward the mysterious girl, long-haired girl. I guess there's no harm in introducing myself as I would with anyone else. She's a classmate after all. Walking over to another beanbag, I take a seat and lay my books beside it. The girl starts looking scaredly up at me from underneath her fringe. This is the first time I've seen her this close. Underneath her long, dense bangs, I can see the part of her face, at least a third, if not a half, is pretty badly scarred. My eyes are immediately drawn to the scars, subconsciously picking past her hair until they met her own eyes. For a second, I am shocked and divert my eyes to the book in her hands before I realize that looking away probably only make it worse. Huh. It takes too many seconds to collect myself and remember what I woke up to her for. Hi, I'm new here. Hisai Nakao. We're in the same class. Tat 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 tat. I just transferred here the other day. Maybe you don't remember. I did a self-introduction too. The girl still doesn't say a word, but simply stares at me wide-eyed. I'm still getting used to the place, so I'm trying to meet as many people as I can. So, what's your name? Ha- Hanako. Hanako. Toilet? Hanako? Her speech is toilet. Her speech is so stuttering and so quiet that it's barely audible even in the still library. Somehow I think that my delinquent impression of her was wrong. Hanako eh. So what are you reading? So gently tips the book backward so that I can read the title at the same time hiding her face behind it. She must have noticed me staring before. Life of Pi. I've never heard of before. What's it about? Yun yung ano, di ba? Yung may tiger sa boat. Tama, tama. A boy and a tiger. Aha, tama ko. Hindi ko pa napapanood yun. Kahit alam ko lang. On a boat. Aha, di ba? I can see this taking some time. Sound is thread. Is it any good? She nods from behind the book but stays silent. She looks kinda tense. A bit like Yuko. Earlier, but in a different way. More like petrified with terror, I'd say. So, so the mystery delinquent girl turned out to be anything but and she's quivering in a way that makes it look like she's mortally afraid of me. The only way out of this, as far as I can tell, is try to get a normal conversation going. Is it a library books? I'm looking for a new ones to read, but there's just so many. No, it's mine. So, do you come here often? A huge blush spreads on Hanako's face and her eyes widen far larger than I thought it was possible for eyes to do. Uh-oh, did she interpret my lame attempt at small talk as a feeble attempt to pick her up? Wait, well, what a misunderstanding this is. Sorry, I mean, I didn't mean it like that, yeah, because the one I'm targeting for is Lily Sama. I, I, the alas, I guess because something. Without warning, Hanako takes off and runs toward the counter. Her hair like take off catches me off so guard and that I don't manage to go after her until she has a good head start. By the time I reach the counter, she is nowhere to be seen. Lily and Yuko are happily chatting away. Knowing that I won't be able to catch Hanako myself, I approach the girls. Hey, did you see or notice a girl run past here? Maybe. What did she look like? Long dark hair, kinda shy. She had, well, some scars on her face. You wouldn't be talking about Hanako, would you? Did you know Hanako? My dear Lily-sama. Yeah, that's her. I saw her reading and tried to talk to her. But I think I scared her off or something. Oh dear. Yuko, would you excuse me? I had better try and find her. Sure, I'll just hold on to this until you come back. What's going on? I'm sorry, but I have to explain it to you some other time. Right, I'll see you later then. Lily hastily grabs her cane and heads out the library, leaving me alone with Yoko. I don't think I'll ever get the hang of this place. I can't imagine blind girl running or hardly basta. Pero, you know, did I do something picturistic? Tama ba? Did I do something wrong? What did you do? Nothing, I just talked to her. Tried to get to know her, didn't even manage to get started. Yoko's eyes look awfully bothered, even more so than she did before. I guess you weren't wrong, so much as tactless. Tactless. That girl is a bit of a special case. It's like she never really talks to anyone. Isn't that a bit strange? I wonder it's just how she is, I think. Yoko doesn't sound all that convincing. Then again, maybe this is just the norm around here. Everyone has their own problems, or else they wouldn't be here. Perhaps I was being a little tactless after all. But how should I deal with these people? Forcing myself to act overly casually only makes me feel phony. Like I was supposed to be ignoring the elephant in the room. Yoko fidgets, looks like she wants to say something. Yuck, I think it's an elephant only if you feel that way. I guess she doesn't have a good sense of self-restraint. This makes me smile and she blushes heavily. What? Did that sound stupid? No, no, it sounds really wise. I guess you're right. It's more about me than anyone else. Masyado namang pushing naman to. Neither of us had anything to add, so Yoko fills the silence by shuffling some papers around. People who have papers on theirs really like doing that. Did you find any books? I should be closing soon. I mean, this library should be closing. But I have to do it. I hope that's not too inconvenient for you. Oh yeah, I want some books. But I left them over there because I just go get them. I fetched my stack of books from beside the beanbags where Hanako and I were sitting and returned to the counter. Wow, you read a lot, don't you? I surprised myself with that too. Honestly, at least when I really think about it, I had a lot of free time earlier this year. So I just kind of, you know, start reading books to fill the time. I couldn't do much else. I see. But she doesn't say anything else and just checks out my books for me. I guess this is what they call tact. Holding the library books with one arm, I troll my pocket for the key to the door. A sudden sound from behind startles me, making me nearly drop the books I'm carrying or the key that I almost managed to get into the lock. Who is it? I turned around to see who is talking to me. It's Kenji. He seems to be in a finally, to be in a friendly mood, although the lighting glint of his glasses in the dark gives him a sinister look. It's just me. This makes him pause and lick his lips nervously. Who is me? I don't know anyone called me. Are you some new guy again? His voice suddenly strained and quick. Yes, but we've met before, yesterday. I don't think so. I would remember someone who I met only yesterday. When was that? What day is it today? I tried to girl, is he joking or what? Prove that we've met before. You live across the hall, you're Kenji. Kenji jumps back, his eye filled with an uncomprehending fear. How do you know my name? Damn, this can only be one of two things. Either we have met, or you are telling the truth and I just can't remember, or you are a spy. He pauses. A psychic spy. What? Too much, too much. His eyes dart around me, trying to peek into my room, although it's hard to believe he can see anything through those thick glasses. His mood swung from friendly to manic in less than a minute. I'm not psychic. How do I know that I'm not a mind reader? Kenji points in my face damningly. Unlike you. Stop that, man. We met yesterday. What's wrong with you? I live in this room. Lies, if you think you can pass as Sisa because I'm legally blind, you are sorely mistaken. You don't even look like him. I mean, the resemblance is really slim, maybe at the distance, but who do you think you're kidding? I want to grab him by the shoulder and shake him, exasperated. I rub my eyes and let out a heavy sigh. Stay there. Kenji comes closer, one careful step at a time. I stay still, lest he assault me physically, although I doubt he could do much damage even if he did. Oh wait, I see it now. Damn, it really is you. You should have known through my voice. Diba, ganun talaga kapag diba mga bulag, dapat sa voice nila nakikita yung mga tao-tao na familiarize it din may say. Sighing again and then once again, for good measure, I step backwards just in case. What's up, man? You don't look too good. I think something wrong. I don't know. Just had something stupid happen to me. A few stupid things actually, even if you discount this one. I can't get a proper touch on other people here. I have no idea, and I have no idea if it's because of me or because of them. I don't know why I'm telling this to Kenji. It's not like we've had any contact either. That's rough, dude. Yeah, I'm sorry about calling you a psychic spy and all, but you can never be too careful. It's the hard reality we live in. I'm slowly starting to think that Kenji isn't necessarily living in the same reality as the rest of us. Tsunebyo. But that's good. You see, this is how it is. This world, there is no justice, you see. Even when I lose, I win. Because I don't lose the lesson. Okay. What does that even mean? It doesn't matter. He just made it flatty with a wave of his hand. So what happened? Why the long face? Do you have a long face? Even it's nothing, I just scared some girl off accidentally. Literally too. She actually ran away from me. Was my fault really? I think I'm not really used to all of this yet. A girl, a cute one? Cute, that's a hard girl. She had a nice body and really beautiful hair. But the face, I guess it could go either way. Cute naman siya, I guess. She's cute. She was cute. Yeah, cute, I guess. I knew it. There are a lot of cute girls here. A strangely disproportionate amount. I believe this is one of the darkest secrets of this school. True, bakit ang daming cute na girl? Oo nga, totoo yung sabi mo, Kenji. Pero, paano mo nalaman? Di ba nga, you're legally blind? I tried to warn you, man, but did you listen? I don't remember any such warning. Dark secrets. Dark secrets. Extremely dark like a black hole. Have you noticed that the number of girls in this school is slightly but significantly higher than the number of boys? It's like 60-40. He turns his head to the left and stares off into the distance at nothing. Why is it like this? I'm into the untrained eye. It doesn't appear to be that bad, but that is a full 20%. One would think that a school with such a huge pool of women would be a man's dream, but no. What I am to tell you about could blow your mind. Are you ready? I don't know where this is going, but I think I won't be missing much by cutting out now. No, I am not ready. I only get as far as turning the doorknob before Kenji starts talking again, showing that he doesn't really care if my mind is blown or not. I believe that this school is battleground, the site of a feminist infiltration. This disparity in the number of men to women is a clear sign of how far they have come. In case this Cold War turns hot, they will have superiority in numbers. There's another skirmish in the eternal war against the force of the feminists. They're everywhere. In Japan, women outnumber men. It's not a 60-40 split, but it's only a matter of time, man. Even in America, women are the majority by a hair. They're building up their numbers in the past. The build-up of military has always been the clear sign of imminent. Did you hear about Twitter, you know? Mas marami dun. Japan is just the first step. Our economy is badass, and the country itself is small and isolated, yet a huge part of the Pacific in terms of political value. The perfect target. They are so cunning, expected of women. Soon the day will come when Kenji's voice trails off ominously. That is why you can trust them. They will string you along and then kill you. Just as they killed me, you will ended up just like me. Oh hell no. I can't stop myself from blurting out. Hey, what the hell does that mean? You said it, not me. It's the best I can think of. So you're not supposed to say something like that. Damn so rude. Where was I? Oh yes, the vast feminist conspiracy. Stop. I lost you way back there. Somewhere around feminist infiltration. Too hard to follow. It's cool. I have some graph and stuff in my and puppets. You like puppets? No puppets. You don't like puppets? Okay, graph are still cool though, right? He speaks energetically, just pandling almost before I'm done talking, moving his hands in an animated way as he continues to rant. This is too strange. I had him peg as relatively normal, but it's clear that I was wrong. Something on your mind, dude. Just thinking about what it's like to be the last sane man in an insane world. Kenji frowns, looking deeply upset. You mean that's you? That can't be, because I'm the last sane man in an insane world. That is my dream. You can't just steal a man's dream. What the hell? There can't be last sane man. It would invalidate the whole last part. And that part is kind of important. There can only be one, like in the foreign movie, where there can only be one, and in there, and there is only one dude left, because that was the point. I never seen anyone talk so heatedly and so defensively about absolutely nothing before. Anyway, if you wait here, I can get my graph. I also have list of the other dark and complex conspiracies that this school holds as tangled as. Quick, finish my analogy for me, be a pal. I'm going to go to bed, it's extremely late. That doesn't sound like an but whatever. I like you, you seem like a cool dude. Most people don't understand what I'm talking about when I try to explain the vast feminist conspiracy to them. Denial is a terrible thing. Later. He taps me on the back and then vanishes into his room so quickly and quietly. It's like he didn't even open the door, but instead walked right into it like a ghost. What a storm. I don't know if I can fully digest what just happened, so I gave up and just go to my room, kicking off my shoes before falling face first into the bed. It takes me some time to relax and get up so I can get started on homework. It's because the sheets are cool and comforting against my cheeks, and it feels good just lying there with my eyes closed. This school is like some kind of bizarre and surreal island. It's isolated on top of a mountain, and each person is stranger than the last. I just can't seem to fit in. What irony. What would one would think that fitting in a place that's made for people who are unfit for anywhere else would be easy. Maybe I'm trying too hard. Although I say that, it doesn't help take the edge off, and the words are left echoing off my empty walls. I guess it's not as bad as I expected, though. This place really is more of a school, and more a school and less a hospital, pretending it's a school than I thought it would be. If nothing else, the scenery is beautiful. Open one, if tuloy, I open one eye seeing the school books and bottles of pills arranged side by side on my desktop. Maybe this place is too much like a normal school after all. Hey, dito na natin i-cut. Okay na? Okay na ba tayo? Are we good? Good na. Yun na ang part 1 ng Katawa Shoujo. Save na natin. Save. Save, 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 save. 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 Yes. Ayan pala, magsisave na lang ako nung sa iba. Save, save, save. Tama, tama, tama na yan. Yun na yan. Yun na ang kataw part, ha? Save, save. Yun na ang part 1 ng Katawa Shoujo. Save ko na naman, di ba? Uy, nice. Extras. Oh, gallery. Ine. Ay, mali, mali, mali. At least pwede ko makuha yun dito. Nice, nice, nice. Oh. Nice, nice, nice. Nasaan yung kasama ko? Bakit yung wala akong kasama? Hindi ako yung kasama. Bakit ganun? I'm not belong. Turn. Turn. Yan, yun na yun. Nakita nyo naman, di ba? Quit na tayo. Okay? Sana naman na-record yun, di ba? Except na baka puro black screen lang. Oh my God. At yun na yun, di ba? At least okay na yung save na yun kasi nakita na natin yung si Lily Sama. Ang ganda ni Lily Sama, no? Tapos nandun pa yung iba ding nakilala din natin yung teacher natin, si Muto, si Misha, si Shizune, si yung head nurse, si nurse, the creepy smiler nurse, pero tingin ko naman siyang lalaki. Good. Sana naman narinig ako except naman yung naanuhan ako ng voice dahil dito sa mix sa audio. Hindi ko pa kasi natatry. Oh, sorry. Ngayon, titingnan na natin kung ano na mangyayari kay Hisaw. At baka kung ano na nangyari sa kanyang arrhythmia sa susunod. You know? Hindi na natin alam. Okay. Off na tayo. Johnny, bye-bye!